when I went to Curtis, one of my close friends was 5 years older than I. That was not Benny Goodman's kid brother, but at Curtis, he happened to be Leonard Bernstein.
Wow.
And
so tell me about, did you manage him later on?
no, but we were good friends. And as a matter of fact, as we were growing and his reputation was beginning to take, we were just walking on 6th Avenue, and I said, Lenny, it's really happening now with Candide and the fancy free ballets and all that. You really? And Lenny said, what do they want to make out of me? Another George Gershwin? His aspirations were in a different, more even classical. So we laughed, because some as we were all growing. And then we found, as time goes on, that you're meeting colleagues, and they are talking about their problems, their careers. I met Franz Waxman in California. He had gotten 5 Academy Awards for his music for the films. Sunset Boulevard, the original film, Nun Story, 5 of the famous, they're still film classics. And he was background classical music. And then he had a festival in Los Angeles called the Los Angeles International Festival. We had a season every spring in Los Angeles at Royce Hall at UCLA, and he asked me if I could help manage it. So I helped him closely. We built it very, very much, even so far as we were able to, with only symphony, get even Dave Brubeck to please audiences. We had items for children and full symphonies also dealing with Stravinsky, who would conduct. And of course I knew them all, and Oscar Levant, and each with different characters, of which I wrote in my book. It's also not song and dance. Levant was a very difficult, neurotic person. Stravinsky was marvelous with his, I'd say, self-modesty. They did, at one point, the original recording of the ballet Egon. Balanchine flew out to Los Angeles. They were working on tempos because the legs are necessary to coordinate with tempi. Some conductors cover everything now too fast because it sounds good on a recording. I get very irritated. I don't care how big their name is. They're wrong. Because a ballet or a charash or whatever, a procession, you don't run through it. It's a procession. So lose it. But if it sells records and it's fast, the record companies market it. They're wrong. People buy it, they don't know the difference. So a promenade, you don't run. They do it. It's silly to me, to my ear. But after the recording of Egon, which I put the orchestra together, Stravinsky asked me to pick the musicians because I knew it all. So I contracted that. I was driving Stravinsky home to his house, and he was in a very good mood. And he had a very deep voice. So out of the blue, he said, Max, don't believe everything people write. Like what? He said, writers now want to over-intellectualize everything and not hear the truth. Or exaggerate is okay, but truth, not interesting. I said, like what? He said, no, when we did Sacre de Francan, in the ballet, on the set, there was a symbol of infinity. And of course it was a scandal when they premiered. That's a history thing. It was a disaster. Now they say, when you did the Sybil, how did you possibly create music so descriptive of infinity? He looks to me and says, did you ever hear such a stupid question? How can anybody? So I laughed. He said, Max, you ever went to silent movie? I said, yeah, sure. So he said, no, if Pianist in the Pit plays by accident what happens on the stage, they say you are a genius. That's the humor about himself not being a genius at all. That gives you a different level of Stravinsky.